Would you believe it if I told you this old school Lexus GX 460 right here would grossly outlast this brand new Lexus GX 550, and this 9-year-old Lexus LX 570 would grossly outlast this brand new Lexus LX 600. As you can see, it actually has no engine under the hood because that's part of the reason. And you'll find that's a pretty common theme with luxury vehicles. Modern day vehicles have all the latest technology, safety, performance. Their acceleration is often electrifying and they handle like they're on rails. But it's all this new technology and powerful drivetrains which is causing a short lifespan. And that's why a lot of these modern day luxury vehicles will never last a fraction of what some of their older school counterparts are. So I'm going to share a list today with you of some of the longest lasting old school luxury vehicles that will grossly outlast and be on the road years after their brand new counterparts. Let's get into it now.
Life's too short to drive boring cars.
This one here is a brand new 2023 Lexus GX. Let's take a quick look. I love it. It looks great. Beautiful shiny wheels, laser cut rims on here. Definitely love these powerful looking rear tail lights, and the light bar looks immense. I love the Lexus script. I always like those. GX 550 as we see right there. And the overall look is one of beefy off-roading and utilitarian, which makes it look very powerful. And if you were a hockey fan from 3 decades ago, you'll remember this phrase, 2 minutes for looking so good. Yes, they look great, but that engine under the hood is the same drivetrain, which is that 3.4 liter V6 that you're finding in the LX 600 and the Toyota Tundra, which has been known to have particulate in the engine and catastrophically failing the engines. And that's why that vehicle won't even come close to lasting as long as its older brother. Right here we have a Lexus GX model, but the older generation. Yes, it looks more rounded. Yes, it's a little bit out of date, but you still get these aftermarket looking taillights on this GX 460 right here. You'll notice great quirks like the rear wiper that drops down from the top, taillights that look like they came out of Pep Boys, Hoffmeyer's kink with the little chrome on it. Naturally get a beautiful two-tone here. You still get a sunroof on top of these vehicles. And you do get the older trademark front end with the big mouth grille, which a lot of people aren't loving it, but you know this is the one with that 4.6 liter V8 engine under the hood that makes about 300 ponies, hill climb assist, and with variable valve timing and a whole host of technology buried under the hood, they have worked out the bugs. And these older SUVs are built to last a lifetime. 100, 300, 400, 500,000 miles without batting a lash. You'll get tired of this vehicle long before it breaks. Another old Mercedes from way back in the day, 1984 to 97, there was a run of mid-size Mercedes-Benz vehicles that you still see driving all over the road. 300, 400,000 miles logged on all of them. As a matter of fact, I've got one just down the street on my neighborhood that the guy still runs. Got a little bit of oil leak, but it still runs like a top. He drives it winter, summer. He's ruthless. And you know, our winters are rough here. But these vehicles now in the modern day Mercedes-Benz, like here we're looking at a modern day AMG. This is an S63, hot, fast, and furious with all the technology. But these aren't built to last. Neither are any of the other models. For example, like the E-Class or even the C-Class, which we have a C-Class currently, very similar to this. Here's an AMG version of a C43 right here. You have all the latest tech, nice little wings, great tall rims here, all kinds of goodness, beautiful two-tone handles, and a large panoramic glass, fold-away mirrors. These vehicles are absolutely amazing, but Mercedes-Benz has been going, in my opinion, downhill ever since the Mercedes W124 are the generation that will last literally forever. These vehicles here are chocked with technology, electronics. Everything runs through modules. If you run a low battery voltage, that vehicle will fail. You'll start having alarms on the dash, and it could literally stop you from running. And it all comes at a cost when it starts to fail. The beauty is the W124 is just one of those old school Mercedes-Benz that everybody laughs and chuckles about and talks about them being built like a tank. That's one of the last generations of Mercedes-Benz that are built to outlast grossly. Even a brand new Mercedes like this will not last as long as a relatively high mileage W124 that's sitting on the side of the road today. And a modern day C-Class, E-Class likely will be piled up in the scrapyard way before that W124. guess who's laughing now? Another luxury vehicle that I'm gonna guarantee the old version will outlast the new version. And while the new version looks very nice, they have it updated. They've got great details like this. On the RX 350 all-wheel drive system, you get this gorgeous light bar here. I absolutely love that. And I like the script that they use Lexus here too. Of course, now over here, you have this beautiful little overhang, very sleek. Of course, two-tone handles, beautiful wheels. And look around, this one's F-Sport, so it's dressed up nicely, has a lot of nice detail here. This looks almost like bubble wrapped here. It sort of has this fake look to it, but this oversized large mouth grille, some people love it and some people don't. Whereas the old version does away. It has no big grille, it looks very generic, and while it looks a little dated, and the big thing that gives it away is the headlights, old projector lamps versus the new style. Of course, we've got LEDs, and the new vehicles, no doubt about it, certainly feels fresh, modern, and performs better. But this vehicle comes equipped with a 5-speed automatic transmission and a 3.5-liter V6 engine that makes about 270 horsepower. And while it's not a rocket ship on rails, these are known to go and go and go. And it's not just the SUVs. Any of their cars that featured the 350 designation back in those earlier generations. This one here is a 2008. It's going to run hundreds of thousands of miles. The other one, on the other hand, they've been changed. As of about a year or 2 years now, they've changed that up to, or downgraded, some might say, to a 2.4-liter turbo 4-cylinder under that hood versus the naturally aspirated V6. Means this vehicle's much more strained. You've got a turbo 4 in a medium-sized SUV. It's certainly going to work harder. Yes, it performs well. The technology is absolutely wonderful in these vehicles, and I love the way they look. But be forewarned that this vehicle has a lot more strain under the hood than this one could ever dream to. And as a matter of fact, even with these old school taillights, it does feel a little dated. However, this one here, while it feels fresh and feisty, likely will be gone in the scrapyard long before that old school RX 350 right there. So one vehicle that we want to talk about in the luxury car segment is this Lexus LX 570. Now, this is the 3rd generation, came out back in 2008, features a lot of technology, electro-hydraulic suspension, ride height, you have the hill assist programs, you get that 5.7-liter V8 with dual variable valve timing, creates about 380 horsepower under that hood, which is way more than enough to move this big rig along. And while they're a little bit thirsty on gas because they are quite a large vehicle, you can in fact, because of the tow capability, now able to tow 8,500 pounds with this large vehicle. But the beauty with a lot of these older Lexus and Toyota products is they were naturally aspirated, and this is one of their tried and true vehicles and engines. In some markets it's called the Toyota Land Cruiser, but in our market it's called a winner. With a wonderful engine, 3UR FE, under the hood, it's a magnificent piece. Hooked up to either a 6 or 8-speed automatic transmission, depending on the year of the LX model, it always has the right gear. Now, while they are a little thirsty, as I said, these vehicles were tested in the frozen Arctic, the desert, and the rainforest of various parts of the globe for 240,000 kilometers just to verify that its integrity and that it could last the test of time. So these Lexus LX 570 aren't just a pretty face with a big grille like this. Some love, some don't. They have all kinds of great looking updated looking tech like that. Beautiful headlights on some of these, laser cut rims. They have nice mirrors. You do get the large sunroof on top for many people, and lots of chrome detail like this. I love the way they finished this off here at the back. Nice looking style on the taillights of the LX 570. You literally can't go wrong, because unfortunately the buyers of the brand new Lexus LX 600 aren't going to be so lucky, and likely that engine and that vehicle won't hold a candle to this vehicle in terms of lifespan, and you'll see this vehicle still on the road years after this brand new Lexus, as you'll notice right there. And they do have some nice touches. Look at this beautiful light bar, but this is the LX 600, which we mentioned. Now, if you look around, I do love the styling and what they've done with it. They've also got the beautiful laser cut type rims, and it's a nice update. And it even has better performance if you can keep it on the road, because look, as you can see right here, this one's lacking an engine under the hood here, because that engine's out to go into the shop for replacement. And unfortunately, Lexus and Toyota are carrying these new generation of engines. 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6 makes a whole ton of power and performance and economy, but there's been some quality issues with stray material floating around in the engine and then taking out the main bearings. It's a sad state of affairs, although fortunately at least Toyota and Lexus are stepping up. They're going to replace 102,000 engines of the LX series, possibly the GX, allegedly, and of course definitely we're talking about the Toyota Tundra pickup truck, which carries the same drivetrain. This is the reason you want to go with the old school LX570. And BMW's made some major strides in the last few years with the B48 and the B58, which is their new turbo straight 3-liter engine, which actually makes a lot of power and is relatively reliable. It doesn't come without a lot of heartache for BMW. BMW's transition to twin turbo V8s, turbo, twin turbo, straight 6s, turbo 4s, all came with a lot of problems, a lot of issues, a lot of catastrophic failures, and a lot of upset customers. Because the ultimate in reliability for BMW that will likely outlast any of these modern day turbocharged engines comes with the old BMW E30, you know, the boxy style that you saw in the 80s. Then the BMW E36, I owned a set of those myself, a 320. They were relatively reliable. They were naturally aspirated. You can get a nice silky smooth straight 6. And then came along the E46, which you saw it around the millennium era. They came out with more engines that were more durable, straight 6s, lots of performance, great opportunities, and you can get manuals, automatics, and they were a lot of fun in this generation as well. And then introduced the E90, E92 generation. As of around 2006, you get coupes, sedans. You of course get different engines. You get the 2.5 liter, 2 liter, 3 liter engines, and as well, that's when they introduced in 2007 the twin turbo 3 liter, which was an absolute disaster. Avoid that 3 liter and stick with all the naturally aspirated engines. And all of the non-turbo BMW engines up to 2007, 8, 9, 10 even, like for example like the 328 and the 330, were their absolute best, silkiest engines, and literally the engines you want to get, and they will outlast any of the modern day turbocharged drivetrains, even the best from the B48s and the B58s. These engines were relatively simple. They were good for a lot of miles, minus just change the odd water pump, the odd cooling system hose, and that engine was likely lasting forever. The E92 and E90 generation BMW non-turbos had engines that would push these vehicles forever. And of course, on that note, check that video, very popular. The worst luxury cars because of their garbage engines that exist under the hood. Hope to see each and every one of you on the next one. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.